First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX and WIBX950.com.
I got into that yesterday afternoon, and then I didn't get home until late because I was doing another. I'm telling you, I can't. The interest there is about Herkimer diamonds around the country.
Oh, yeah.
I was doing another one of those nationwide broadcasts last night and watching the Herkimer diamonds, just watching the counter and all. Nope, sold out.
That is awesome.
It's unbelievable.
Good for them, Dr. Shavak. That's awesome.
And anyway, so I didn't get home until late. When I saw the email, I responded and said, yes, we are good tomorrow morning. But I didn't respond to them until later.
Well, they're up at all hours, patrolling airwaves.
I believe, and on this, all caused by John from Bridgewater.
Thanks, John.
It's terrible. PETA very, very upset. John was going to kill the skunk.
What's the most local chapter that we have? The closest chapter is it
I don't know.
Utica, Syracuse.
Someone must have reported this. I don't think they listen every morning.
Well, from the sounds of our email we received, somebody was listening.
I'll read the email coming up, and we'll speak with them. And what they're saying is they have ideas and ways for you to get rid of a skunk, but please do not shoot the skunk with a paintball gun.
Okay.
Didn't John just indicate he was going to shoot? No, he was going to shoot it. Never mind.
He was going to shoot it, and then Paul, who was going to give him the paintball gun. You remember how this whole thing unfolded? Mm-hmm. Paul, who was going to give him the paintball gun, said, "Wait a minute. If you're going to shoot him, I'm not going to give you the gun now." Well, and it all ended well, as Peter said, and I will read the email.
Didn't somebody offer to remove the skunk?
Yes,
with no shooting involved?
Yeah. And I
just
said,
a blanket over a cage or something?
I said you put it into a cage and then you can relocate it. That would work, and that's what Paul said he would do. Our ears were burning during yesterday's chat with John, the caller with the skunk in his yard, so we couldn't resist dropping you a line to say how delighted we were to hear you and Paul, the caller with the paintball gun. Mm-hmm. God bless these people because they have this story down. Steer him away from shooting the skunk. We're glad that cooler heads and kinder hearts prevailed. In case you hear from John again, John, if you're out there, you might want to give us a call. I've got some scolding to do. And to help with any groundhogs or other unwanted visitors who are popping up in your own yards, you're welcome to check out PETA's tips on living in harmony with wildlife. Removing animals via violence never, ever works. So there you go.
Well, say that last part again.
Removing animals via violence never works.
Actually, I think it does, but
not for them.
It depends on your definition of works, I think.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Animals, humans, living in perfect harmony.
We can live in harmony. For example, if food is still available, whether in trash cans, dog dishes, or bird feeders. After all, a skunk doesn't know that the food isn't for him.
Oh, right.
So the first stop is to remove food sources. Just taking bird feeders in at night could encourage John's striped neighbor to look somewhere else for his midnight snack. Another way to deter small animals, such as groundhogs, we call them woodchucks up here, from making themselves at home is to set up effigies of predators, electronic sound repellents like the Yard Guard or motion-activated sprinklers. If the yard isn't appealing, they'll move along, and that is the key. I like that idea. This year we've had, like my wife had planted all of these tulips in the front of the house, all eaten by something. I think our neighbor's sneaking over and is making like salad or something.
That's where he's looking for his midnight snack?
Yeah.
Your tulips.
We hope this helps. And if you'd like any further information about this or any other animal issue, please do not hesitate to contact us. And I had reached out and said, sure, if you'd like to have someone come on and chat with us, we'd be glad to do it. And, Andrew, it sounds like you've confirmed this, right?
It was on the sheet.
Okay.
So maybe you confirmed it.
I guess I didn't.
Professor Allen's
I guess I didn't think I put her name on the sheet, but maybe I did. I don't know. John, good morning. Good morning. Look what you've started. Hi, John.
He's stunned.
Okay.
Really, Bill?
Stand by. I've got
I never
all
reset
the buttons
board,
are all screwed up here on the thing here. That one's in. This one's out. Okay. All right. Good morning.
Bill, really?
Yeah.
All this?
Caused by you.
Listen,
Yeah, you.
I probably
you.
would have never shot the skunk anyways with the paintball.
You don't think so?
Number
Okay.
2, my wife probably would have never let me.
That's probably true.
And number 3, the feeders go into a locked bin every night. So
Oh, they do? So you put the feeders away at night?
my wife puts them away at night.
Wow. Well, that's her. That's not you. You know what I'm saying?
Get up there that high.
You still need to be educated, John.
That's right.
Bill, come
Yeah.
on, give me a break.
I'm just
He
telling
isn't
you.
involved now.
Because this is the it is the national chapter, and they knew all about it, had the full interview. They knew everything you had said.
It started out as a joke. Even Paul won't even give me the paintball.
You don't
now.
joke about animal abuse.
Well, what was the what's the movie by the Bill Murray movie too, where he's trying to kill Caddyshack? That's another bad one.
Actually,
Oh,
I think
my
it was the Bridgewater chapter of PETA was actually.
It might have been. Yeah,
They're opening up shop next door.
that's right. Well, John, have you learned from this experience?
Yes, I have.
All right.
Hey,
Okay.
how about this though? How come the skunk can squirt my dog, but I can't get revenge at the skunk?
Well, that's a good point. Yeah, I don't have the answer to that. I believe the dog is just, or the skunk is just acting out of its own natural reaction.
Well, we're going to have to bring in a mediator to sit down and talk with the dog and the skunk.
We might have to.
Tell PETA to meet me at my house.
All right. Okay. I hope you're not planning any threats here.
No, I'm not.
All right.
Oh my God. Have a good day.
All right. Thanks.
The people for the
People for the ethical treatment of PETA.
people will be or PETA. Yeah.
Peepa?
Yeah, Peepa.
So Wayne says John only said he was going to shoot it in the butt. He didn't say he was going to.
He did. I don't think, but even they say that is not proper, and we'll get the full
anything that
official.
you do, though, is not proper according to them.
We'll get
other than turn on the sprinkler.
Kristen Rickman is the person we're going to be speaking with. She is the spokesperson for PETA on this type of issue. Listen, I've heard all sorts of stories on how you can kill a skunk, but I do believe that is against the law.
Killing a skunk?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean,
I think they're almost protected or something. But I guess it'd be more than almost.
I'm not encouraging anybody to kill any animals. I'm not. I just.
I had people say you get them and then you put the cage in water and you drown them. You use there's an antifreeze thing that is very horrible. All of these ways that you would kill the skunk. When I had the problem, I would just relocate them. And by the way, I think that is against the law.
Really?
I think you're supposed to call in. It is.
Come on.
Is to take a skunk and relocate it to another location. I believe is against the law.
You know, you're going to turn me into PETA because when you say the antifreeze thing and the drowning, I'm not for that. I'm not for.
I had a visit from the animal control officer when we relocated. And I was told that I could be arrested for that.
Did the skunk call the officer?
I believe so. It was the skunk that turned me in.
How did you know? How did they know?
The skunk must have. Well, how did they know? I was talking about it on the radio. We did the whole thing on the radio. That's where I got the advice. If you cover the cage, the skunk won't spray you. And literally, I swear to God, we put it in my father's pickup truck, and because I wasn't putting it in my car, and it never sprayed. It never sprayed. The whole ride into the rural area, it never sprayed. Incredibly.
Is what you did considered unethical?
I believe so. We'll find out at 7 o'clock when PETA continues the conversation with me. Rachel Sutherland standing by. The president is back on the road again, like Willie, this time in Michigan, and he is pitching the infrastructure plan, which is a big one. Rachel, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, actually, the president took that trip to Dearborn, Michigan yesterday. I was with him, and it was an interesting site there at the Ford plant where they're building electric models. They had a prototype of a pickup truck, a Ford F-110, Ford 150. I don't know.
It's the F-150 is the popular one.
It?
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
it. I'm not a car person.
Well,
but,
listen, if I had not had a skunk in my backyard, I wouldn't have known this, Rachel.
that was yesterday. Okay, well,
Yeah.
that's hats off to you because I wouldn't go anywhere near skunk.
I know.
But,
Trust me.
So the president toured this plant and spoke about he believes that China is leaving us in the dust when it comes to green energy and electrified vehicles. Maybe so, but there's a lot of questions about this because, the president's pitching installing 500,000 electric charging stations across the United States on the taxpayer dime. The question is, should the taxpayers be paying for it, or should it be a public-private partnership? The question is, shouldn't companies like Ford and the others that are building these cars foot part of the bill? But the president is saying that China is surpassing us, and we need to catch up on green energy.
I've watched these battery operated devices completely change over the years. It's so interesting. Like even years ago, if you got a battery operated drill, you'd say, well, you wouldn't use that for anything heavy duty because it just doesn't have the power. Yet today, I've like a weed eater that is battery operated. It lasts for a good half an hour. I can do my entire yard with it.
Yeah, actually, my husband, just bought one of those electric mowers.
And electric mowers are,
yeah.
It does the trick. It'll do your whole yard, and then of course the fact that you can now power an F-150, which is a large pickup truck. That really is it's incredible. But
but how much is it going to cost?
You're right.
These things and it's not going to be like Tesla, but can the average American afford it? I think it's going to run somewhere around $50,000.
And then the other part of this, I do wonder, you have an entire industry that we are attempting to replace. This is kind of like the coal story, although, like it or not, coal is kind of making its way all naturally, a natural progression. And I do understand that cars are only a small part of the oil industry. Oil is used for a lot, which will not be eliminated. But the reality is, if there's now a job decrease in the oil industry, I guess we want those people to move over to the electronic industry. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's what the White House is proposing. But it's not only that; it's more these companies are embracing it themselves. I mean, if Ford is pushing this, and other like the foreign automakers are definitely pushing it, and have said we're going to be rolling out some 15 models. And that got Ford like, oh, we gotta do this too.
Yeah.
Then it'll be industry driven and consumer driven rather than pushed by the government. It's really, I think that's where it is. I mean, the president can go out and drive as many electric cars as he wants.
Right.
It certainly bought Ford a lot of publicity. But it's going to be consumer driven. Will people make the switch?
Yeah.
And how long will it take them to make it? And can they afford it, really? That's the question.
Yeah. Very interesting. All right, Rachel, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Rachel Sutherland with Fox News. You see a lot more of these vehicles on the road.
Yeah,
whether they're a combination or the whole electric vehicle.
Yeah, it would be great if we could get the technology, and then it worked, and then it lasted, and you could go, I don't know, how far could you go? What's a full tank? 350 miles, something like that?
Whatever.
The equivalent of a, quote, full tank.
Yeah.
The only thing is, though, if you're traveling down to
New York, let's say.
Yeah, and back in the same day, how long would it take to sit at a charging station?
I think they charge I think they're rapid charges, right?
When you're down in the
10
city.
10 minutes? Same
I have no idea what it is.
When you're down
someone
in the
with
city,
a Tesla would know.
When you're down in the city, there's likely charging stations all over the place. So
it is, but how long
get there?
The question is, you have the beauty of taking 10 minutes to pull into the gas station, fill your tank, go in and grab something to drink, and get back in your car and take off. How long does it take to completely, fully recharge your car? And how long before we start having the hood of your vehicle, the roof of your vehicle, serve as a solar a solar panel on your vehicle?
Well, I mean, what? It's sitting out in the sun all day.
Andrew, you act as if this is great. Now they're going to be. This is terrible. Before we know it, they'll be doing windmills on the cars.
Yeah.
Listen, can you imagine, though, never having to stop and charge your vehicle?
Right.
Just using the sunlight to do it, and it just continues to go. I do think that that's probably in some way, it's the future.
Look,
Oh, great. Great.
Great. Now they're
Yeah.
doing solar power.
Great. This is so stupid.
Yeah, and that's, I think, where part of this
Oh, God.
idea comes into play for. This is going back a few years, but the idea of you don't pay because gasoline would be gone. You don't pay a gas tax; you pay a user tax
Correct.
on the roads.
There'll be a way to get your money. I mean, your
they'll get
licensing will go up, or who knows what.
Those solar
They'll
panels
get
are
you.
expensive.
And and even those right now, all of the because of incentive, all of these electric stations are free. You plug in. I don't think you pay, do you?
I don't think so.
I think you just plug in. And but I think that will go away as well as more people are doing this. But I see more Teslas on the road in our area.
It's like when they got rid of the free air at gas stations. And they started charging you 75 cents.
You're right.
There are
You're
places though that have free air still.
I think Kinney's drug is one.
And
can I ask one more thing?
you might kind of see something like that occur going forward. But electricity is not free, so at some point they're going to have to start charging.
If you drive a Tesla, call us and let us know. I want to know how long it takes to
We
charge
had,
the
if
car.
you remember, it would have been maybe 6 years ago, just when Tesla was brand new. We had a guy come into the studio.
He had just
and
done a cross-country trip.
parked in the parking lot, waited for us. We went out, we got in the vehicle, and he took off and drove us around. It was really an amazing. I mean, it was 0
quick.
to 60 pretty darn fast.
Had a full-blown tablet in the center console.
Yeah,
Looked
like an
an
iPad right up front. So it was a really cool looking vehicle.
He raced or something. It was to Florida, right? It wasn't cross country. It was more north
I
south.
think
Either way,
New York
that
to
was when
Florida.
there weren't as many of the electric charging stations. But you knew if you were a Tesla driver, you knew where they were and how to maneuver to them. And do you have those at your home? I guess everybody would have one at home, maybe. Is that the answer? Then you're paying for your own electricity. I don't know. Anyway, all interesting stuff. Yes,
That's an interesting thought too. And again, that's a major inconvenience. You have to have your own gas station at your house, your own charging station.
I guess. But if it's I think
It's not
it'll-
just plug it in. You don't just like plug it into a wall.
I
It's
think
gotta-
that's
You
probably
can.
what it
okay,
would be
okay.
like.
Remember,
yeah.
there was
That's not
somebody
a
that
big
used to
deal.
work here that would
really
plug
don't know.
his electric car into. There'd be an extension cord running out of the window or whatever. We can't open windows here, but it would be right plugged into the building here.
Who was that? There was someone that. Okay.
Yes.
Mike says what Biden is not saying about electric vehicles is that it will be a net job loss to the UAW. It's much easier to assemble with much less parts and an electric vehicle rather than an internal combustion vehicle where it takes a lot more to build that vehicle. Very interesting. And you'll see places like Cree play a big role in all of that. A lot of what they do winds up in a vehicle. It's really incredible.
Yeah.
And there was another
Sell
story
chips
out
now.
yesterday about the incredible, horrible shortage we have in chips. So it makes you wonder: will you see Cree ramp up what they had originally planned because of the huge shortage worldwide in these chips? Pretty incredible. Paul is on the line right now, and we call him the instigator with PETA. And is it the same Paul?
This is not the same
Okay, sorry. Different Paul. Paul in New Hartford, good morning.
Morning, how are you?
Good, sir. What's going on?
The Tesla questions.
Yes.
Do
Do you have one?
I had a past garage sale, and I had a lady that came that had a brand new Tesla, and she was telling me all about it.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
it takes 2 hours to fully charge the car.
Wow.
She had the station. If you use one of the stations to charge your car, like they got out in front of T-Hands, or you got to use your credit card. She said.
Oh, so you now do have to pay for it.
Yeah, you got to pay for it.
Okay.
How much did she say?
That she didn't tell me.
Okay.
You walk up to the charging station and say,
she
fill
had
her up?
The thing hooked up to her house.
Okay, so she does.
You got to pay the electrician to do it. It costs her $300.
Okay, all right. And then you're charging at home. So the more you charge
it
at home,
overnight.
Yeah.
And it's fully charged. Like she went to Albany, and then when she got to Albany, it said come up on the screen. You got 120 miles, and then you got to recharge the car or something like that.
all right. So about 2 hours to fully recharge.
That's what she told me. Yeah.
That's interesting. So you could do like like I'll do if I see the gas price is too high. I'll be like, I'm putting in 3 gallons or something. Right. So you could put a partial charge together, and then
it tells you.
Yeah, it'll tell you.
The car,
okay.
It'll say like you've been charging it for 10 minutes or 20 minutes. It tells you how long you got to go, stuff like that. It tells you right on the screen.
When I was a kid, there was a guy that used to. I guess he used to be the head mechanic at Montgomery Ward, and then he opened his own place up in Cedarville, New York. In Cedarville, down just a little ways south of Ilion. And Shorty was his name. He was the most awesome mechanic. But I could imagine if he were here today, driving in with a Tesla and opening up the hood. I guess it'd be the trunk where the battery is, right?
Right.
And having him look inside there for the carburetor, right? It would be like.
Yeah.
I mean, you think we have a tough time working on our vehicles today? Wait till we're all driving electric vehicles.
Yeah, it's gonna be different because she had these 4 things on the fenders of the car.
Yeah.
And I go with fenders in the front and the back of the car, and I asked her what those things were. They look like little grills for decoration. She said, "No, those are all cameras."
Oh, they're cameras. Wow.
Yeah.
And when Paul, what was your take on her? She probably loves it, right?
Well, actually, it was her husband's car.
Okay. What did?
The only reason he bought it, he has a bad hip.
Okay.
He's had operations; they can't fix them right, and they had BMWs, Cadillacs. He couldn't reach the pedals anymore to drive the car.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's the only reason he bought this car. Yeah, they shipped it into him from California, and
wow,
he can drive the car now because his feet can't reach it.
All right, where's the pedal on it? How do you make it go?
The car?
Yeah,
goes by itself. The one she had was a line model, so the most expensive one, I guess.
Oh, okay. So there must have been another way to trigger the gas pedal, if you will.
It senses how far his foot is away from the pedal.
Oh my God, that's crazy. All right, interesting.
Didn't sound good to me, but
no, that's a little. You worry about. It's like everything else. Your washer, your dryer, your refrigerator. The more electronics they put into these, as my repair guy says, the more you'll need me, or the more you'll need to throw it out. The
batteries are $3,000. She said.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Interesting. All right. Well, it's the future. All right, Paul. Thanks for the education here.
Okay. No problem. Have a good day, guys.
A couple things to add on to that.
Thank you.
Ed in Syracuse says 45 minutes for a rapid charge.
Okay. All right.
Also, Roger says some key takeaway. He sent me this. The Tesla Model X costs about $15.29 to fully charge, which comes out to 4.5 cents a mile. It will cost around $7.65 to charge the Tesla Model 3, depending on the variant. That's between 3 and 4 cents a mile.
So we also had somebody say a home charge from your regular power at home. This is from somebody who knows a Tesla owner. 4 to 5 hours. Supercharger, you can do it in less than an hour. But here's the thing: you run out of gas, you go and get a gas tank, you fill it up, you walk down the street, or you call AAA. What do you do when you run out of charge with your Tesla? You got to bring another Tesla in.
Well,
to jump it.
Think about this.
Do you run an extension cord from the nearest window?
Well, what
do you do?
It probably will be a lot easier to get a charge once in another 15 years when everybody's going to have these little charging
AAA will
stations.
have a little pack. They'll just
plug
or you
it
might
in carry a little I know when my iPhone goes dead, I've got a little pocket charger that I carry with me. You plug the thing in, and you're back up and running. So,
oh, great.
Yeah, oh, great. This is what we're going to do. You want to get a charge? Let's get a charge out of Tanya Powers here this morning, and here she is, my transition, which was way weak, I understand. But good morning, Tanya J. Powers.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Speaking of getting a charge, here's a decent transition right here. And a very charged passenger on an airline got the shock of his or her life. Am I right there, Tanya?
You're very close. Yes.
Yeah. All right.
There was no taser involved. However, you kind of got to wonder if maybe they just didn't have one handy.
That's right.
And that may be the only reason. And we're talking about the FAA, the fines that they've handed out. One of them is huge. It's $52,500 against one passenger.
Wow.
This was on a Delta flight a couple of days before Christmas last year from Honolulu to Seattle. And the FAA says this guy tried to open the cockpit door.
Oh, my God.
Which is obviously a no-no. Repeatedly refused to comply with crew members' instructions. Hit a flight attendant in the face, pushed him down to the floor. Then it took the flight attendant as well as another passenger to put plastic handcuffs on this guy. Then he got out of those, apparently, and hit the flight attendant in the face again. The police obviously boarded the aircraft and gave him a special escort off once.
I'll
once
bet.
he landed.
Yeah. Well, I hope he also got some jail time for that. 'Cause
seriously.
that's assault and trying to. I mean, he could have grounded the plane or sent it into the ground.
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, I can only imagine what it was like for the rest of those passengers on there.
Yeah.
There was also a flight that was it was a Southwest flight from Phoenix to Chicago that a passenger was fined $27,000 for his behavior, yelling and forcefully banging his hands on the seat in front of him. He disturbed the passengers nearby, obviously. And then he yelled that he was going to kill someone and that he had a bomb and was going to blow up the aircraft.
Yeah, that is something you don't want to say anywhere near an airport or on an airplane. They take that very seriously.
Yeah, the captain diverted the flight to Oklahoma City, and again, this person was given a special escort off. And then you have a couple in February that happened on separate dates. Both of them originated from Fort Lauderdale. One of them was an $18,500 fine against a passenger that not only brought his own personal alcohol on the flight, but drank it after he was told, you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
Kept on. They also told him, look, you've got to wear your face mask over your mouth and nose unless you're eating or drinking. He just was not having that either, continually kept removing it, wore it improperly. And then same kind of thing with this woman on an Allegiant flight. She got fined $9,000 because of face mask issues, not just face mask issues, but she was rolling her eyes. She wouldn't put it on. The flight attendant said, you got to put on your face covering. Then she put it on without bothering to cover her mouth or nose and cursed at the flight attendant. At one point, she got in the face of the flight attendant without wearing her mask over her mouth and nose and screamed at the flight attendant. Yeah, so that one was the $9,000.
How much? Oh, she was fined $9,000 for that. Wow. I will say that when you're on an airplane, anything like that's unruly, it's a little nerve-wracking. It's scary because you're flying through the air. And you're in a very small, basically a small compartment. You kind of worry that it's going to escalate to the point that it's going to cause real trouble to everybody else.
Yeah,
so I'm okay with these fines. Nail them pretty hard.
The flight attendants are not there to serve you pretzels and Coke. They are there to keep you safe. And that's, and if you, it's like the FAA released a statement in their press information about all of these cases. And reiterates the fact that federal law prohibits interfering with aircraft crew or assaulting or threatening to physically assault aircraft crew or anyone else on an aircraft. So, this is not just hey, be nice to your flight attendant. That's against the law not to. So
okay,
is there a court or a hearing they can go to appeal?
From what I understand on this information from the FAA, the passengers have 30 days after getting the enforcement letter to respond. Now, what happens after that is a good question. I'm not really sure what path this takes.
All right.
My second thought is more of a statement. You said you're all for them getting fined.
Yeah, I mean, because it costs. I mean, when you have to divert the plane and land somewhere else. That's got to imagine what that costs the airline.
There should be, I think there should be a penalty, but in addition to the financial penalty, I mean, what is your thought on? Why don't we just tell these people you've lost your privilege to fly in an airplane?
I think that probably comes with this, Tanya. Right? I mean, I don't know for a fact, but I've heard
not sure.
people are
that's
banned for life from
Apparently,
flying.
These cases have just skyrocketed. One of the numbers that I was reading was the FAA says they've had like 1,300 of these unruly passenger incidents since February the 1st. And, I mean, that sounds like fun to fly on.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
There's a problem. I don't know what's going on, but there are certain people that have gone off the deep end during this whole pandemic.
It's like 3 months.
And they've become crazy on the ground and in the air. It's just nuts. Okay, Tanya, interesting stuff. Just I guess the lesson is behave on the airplane.
Yeah, and remember, you still got to wear a face mask on public transportation.
That is true, and that includes airplanes. So, okay, Good stuff. Thank you, Tanya Powers. We appreciate it. Have a wonderful day. Tanya J. Powers, right there from Fox News.
Yeah, I'm all for, the fine is one thing. I would say you make them pay the fine in order to get their privilege back, because these people aren't coming up with $9,000, $52,000 to pay this fine.
Yeah.
I would say the average person's just going to go, you know what, I'm just never going to fly again.
Can I tell you that when I was younger, and we'd be going off to like spring break, we once went to Venezuela for spring break. I was still in college. And we were all partying before we got on that plane, and everybody's screwing around, and it was rowdy, and it was pretty crazy. And I remember getting yelled at by flight attendants and not really paying all that much attention. Like it didn't seem like it was that big of a deal. Whereas today, and really since 9/11, you even utter a bad thing and start misbehaving, you're going to find yourself zip tied to the seat. And you'll face one of these fines. It's there's no screwing around right now, and I guess I'm okay with that.
So am I. And the other guy saying that he was trying to get in the cockpit. Tanya was saying the guy was trying to get in the cockpit.
Yeah,
which is like, hello, why would you want to be in there?
Can't be anything good, right? Let's switch gears and head over to Ilion, where Mitch is standing by. What are we talking about, Mitch?
Village of Ilion Fire Department and the investigation about the chief and the deputy fire chief.
Boy, that is a mess right now.
Yeah, today's Times Telegram has an article by, and I know you know her, Donna Thompson, saying basically the investigation's going on, and anytime a news reporter or anyone asks what's going on, they get the response, no comment. They fought the papers filed FOIL requests to get the exact charges against the chief and the deputy
How is it that after and I know Chuck Lester usually listens at this time of the day, but how is it that this is all going on and we still don't know what happened to what the charge is against these firefighters?
You're right, and Annie Brindisi has been, I believe, hired by the chief to say, hey, you just can't put them on administrative leave unless you say the reason, and so far he hasn't even got it. So
I'm not sure if he was hired by the
editor saying, if you're going to keep stalling like this and not being in stonewalling, then maybe you have to go to the Attorney General of the state of New York, Letitia James, and say, hey, they're not complying with the law here.
Yeah. I'm not sure it's the chief. Is it the deputy chief that hired Brindisi? I think
the one who's suspended.
I believe so.
Mr.
His name is in the paper, so it's not a secret. His name is Mike Conover.
Yeah, Conover.
The chief was, of course, Tom Pedersen.
Here's the letter that we had posted that was sent to the village of Ilion, to Lamica and the village board of trustees. As you know, Mr. Conover has had an exemplary career as a firefighter with the village of Ilion that has lasted over 2 decades. Received numerous accommodations and is the longest-serving ALS provider in the department. In addition, Mr. Conover runs the monthly training program for career and volunteer firefighters, and it goes on about his achievements. Despite his long and distinguished career, Brindisi writes, you, as mayor and the village board of trustees, have wrongly placed him on administrative leave without explanation as to what law, policy, or procedure he has violated, and I believe to this day they still are completely unaware of what the official charge is, why this has happened to them. So,
yeah, no, you're right. You're right in everything that Mr. Brindisi has said in his letter. And the article today basically says there's no new news to report because every time we ask for something, we get the comment, no comment, no comment.
And I think that please provide me with copies of any written notifications, et cetera, et cetera. And I think he had given them a deadline of 7 days. So maybe we'll reach out to Brindisi today and find out if they came through. But he said this letter is further to notify you the opportunity to mitigate a potential punitive damage claim against you unless there's a full retraction of any of the defamatory statements that were made against Michael Conover to news agencies and other outlets, including social media, within 7 days from the date of this letter. And I can tell you that we have not received any such communication.
Well, what is the date of the letter?
The date goes back to March 30th.
Okay, that's what I thought. So the 7 days is long gone.
I would say, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we'll find out.
If you can get a hold of Anthony Brindisi and say, gee, what's the current status, that might give us a little more information than what the newspapers come up with.
All right. Thank you for the advice, Mitch. We appreciate it.
Okay. Thanks,
Have a
Bill.
great day.
Have a good day.
Okay.
Stay safe.
Yeah, you do the
Take
same.
care, Mitch.
Bye-bye.
Make sure. I'm going to write that down. When he comes on, we're going to say, G, what's the current status?
We appreciate that advice from Mitch. And you notice how he said at the end there, stay safe. It does seem to be the way we're ending our conversations these days, right? Stay safe out there. Stay safe.
I'm going to start telling people to be unruly.
I was reading, that, in Buffalo, the way they finish it, they don't say stay safe, they say go Bills. Yeah. That's how every conversation in Buffalo ends. Go Bills. That's pretty cool. I think I've done that a few times. Go Bills.
What do you want, a large pepperoni? Yeah, what's the address? All right, go Bills.
That's how it ends.
Be there in 25 minutes.
That's how it ends. That's what they tell us. Okay, well, there you go. So that is that story. The fact that there is no resolution there just makes me very much wonder. And I know it's still going on. I spoke with somebody just the other day. Sure. It is still going on with zero resolution.
At some point, I know it's a personnel. It could be considered a personnel issue. But at some point, they've got to either make him aware, at least make him aware of what the reason is that he's not there anymore.
There is, in my, I'm no attorney, although some think I am. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I would think that informing the person who is being accused would be pretty essential.
Right.
I mean, if there's no rules or regulations you're breaking, or no, privacy rules, by informing the person who's being accused.
Exactly.
I think they should know.